The year 2025 has just begun and the predictions of Simpsons are coming true. The wildfire in Los Angeles spread terror over thousands of acres of land and destroyed homes. A scene of this kind was seen 9 years ago on September 25. In 2016, Simpson has already shown an American town where due to some reason a fire broke out and the whole town turned into smoke. After the fire was extinguished, the aerial photos of Los Angeles County that are coming are surprisingly similar to the scene of Simpsons. It is quite similar, but how much truth is there in it? What is the secret behind Simpsons predicting the future many years in advance? You must have seen this photo many times before, in which Donald Trump is seen with Saudi King Salman and Egyptian President in 2017. He is placing his hand on a light globe. This photo is a puzzle in itself, but the thing that is not understandable is how did Simpsons predict this scene in 2002 and what is the actual truth behind it? Is it really true that the powerful people have planned everything in advance and apart from the Los Angeles wildfire for 2025, which of Simpsons' predictions have a chance of coming true? The Simpsons is a legendary animated sitcom series whose first episode was broadcast when most of us were not even born on 177th December 1989. Since then, more than 700 episodes have been released and now it has made history in both cartoon and drama categories. This cartoon has become the longest-running scripted show of 2018. Earlier, it was very popular only among children, but now there is no age limit for its audience, and the biggest reason for this is the events shown in it, which are relevant in the real world after many years. There's a long list of The Simpsons predictions that have come true in the past. A 1998 episode featured Homer Simpson sitting on a blackboard. Someone standing in front of the computer is trying to invent something new by writing mathematical equations. At that time, probably no one had seen this clip, but 14 years after this episode was launched, in 2012, scientists discovered the Higgs Boson particle, which is also called the God particle. Yes, Higgs boson, there is a particle in the universe which gives weight to every object. If this particle was not there, then nothing would have weight, and perhaps the shining stars, planets, and even we people would not have any existence in this universe. This is the reason why Higgs boson is also called God particle. The discovery of God particle has surprised many, but what is even more surprising is that the physicist who discovered God particle in 2012 says that the idea which Simpson had drawn on the blackboard 14 years ago, the equation I was writing, was very close to calculating the mass of the God particle. Moving forward, in an episode broadcast in March 1995, Lisa was seen in London. In the scene shown in the movie, London's famous Big Ben Tower was shown, behind which London Bridge can also be seen, but there is one thing in this picture which was not present there at that time. How did the Simpsons know that this cone-shaped skyscraper was right there after 17 years? A skyscraper of the same shape will be built at the same place, which is now called the Shard. The construction of this building began in 2009, 14 years after that episode of The Simpsons. How can such a big coincidence happen? Even if we assume that it was just a coincidence, is this also a coincidence? In an episode of 1998, the logo of 20th Century Fox was shown. There is nothing special in this logo, but if you look below it, it says Division of Walt. Although 20th Century Fox Studios was not owned by Walt Disney at the time, 21 years after this episode was published, Walt Disney did in fact purchase 21st and 20th Century Fox Studios in the year 2000. In the Simpsons episode Back to the Future, Lisa is shown to have become President of the United States and has a very small budget. In a meeting, Lisa says that this is all a result of the policies of the previous US president, including President Trump. He was held guilty by name. The question here is that when this episode was released, Trump was a well-known businessman, but there was no chance of him becoming the president. This clip of the episode went viral only after 16 years in 2016. In another scene where Trump became the President of the United States for the first time in 1998, The Simpsons showed Trump going down an escalator, and the same scene was repeated in 2015 when he came down the escalator of Trump Tower and was giving the news of his candidacy to the media. There was a scene in a Simpsons episode where Lisa shows a list of people she says will win the Nobel Prize in the future. If you look closely at the list, there is a name called Banks or Homer. Surprisingly, the thing is that this episode was released in 1998, but in 2016 Bankhead or Homer actually got the Nobel Prize. It was the predictions of Simpsons due to which this animated series got a lot of fame. People are surprised to see that even many years ago, how does Simpsons predict the future so accurately? The questions that are coming to your mind are the same ones that are in my mind too. But to answer them, in this episode Lee goes to London and replaces the analog clock on the famous Big Ben Tower with a new one. A digital clock was seen installed. It may not be possible to make the Big Ben clock digital forever, but it is not impossible either. If it is done temporarily, it will be a very important day in history. You can read this here. Let us tell you that in 2022, renovation work was done on Big Ben Tower, and during this time it was definitely thought that on the occasion of any special event in the UK, if the clock of the tower could be turned off for a short time if it is made digital, then it will be a turning point in history. Now will it be the year 2025 when a digital clock will be installed on this tower? Only time will tell. The next prediction in our list is that there will never be a female president of USA in the history of America. Female president did not come, and regarding this, Simpsons has predicted that a female president will come in America. In 2016 Hillary Clinton took part in the election, but she was not successful, and now in 2024 Kamala Harris has also tried her luck, but now Donald Trump has won the election again and will join the office on January 20th, 2025. Then how can there be a chance of a female president in 2025? This idea was floated in another scene of The Simpsons when Ivan's 2028 was written on a small badge. It is possible that Donald Trump's daughter Ivana may announce her candidacy for the 2028 election in 2025 itself, but at present she is not a part of American politics. This is the next Simpsons prediction that may come true in 2025. In a 2010 episode, The Fool Monty, it was shown that Mr. Burns created a mind control device that could control people's minds against their will, and now let us tell you that the world-famous billionaire Elon Musk, whom you know only as the owner of companies like Tesla, Space One and Starlink, also has another company by the name of Neuralink, and this company has been working on such a device for the last several years. A device is being worked on which will connect the human brain to the computer. Currently, its work will be to control diseases like paralysis, Alzheimer's and epilepsy. There is a plan to present the prototype of this device to the world in 2025. On February 23, 2020, an episode of The Simpsons, in the episode, Professor Frink created his own crypto coin which was named Frink Coin. After this, Professor Frank becomes the richest person in Springfield, which is a fictional town in this animated series. In this episode, in a funny way, the importance of creating wealth through cryptocurrency and digital assets has been shown. In another episode of Simpsons, cryptocurrency is shown replacing traditional currency. Cryptocurrency experts say that perhaps 2025 will be that year because Donald Trump promised before the election. He had said that he would make America the crypto capital of the world, and now he is going to join office soon. Let's move on to the next prediction. In a 1996 episode, fusion energy was mentioned. Here, let us tell you that fusion energy is more energy efficient than today's clean energy. It is also more powerful because it does not produce greenhouse gases, generates more power from less fuel, and does not leave long-term radioactive waste as compared to fission, which is currently used for energy generation. 2 years ago, a lab in California has successfully demonstrated the fusion reaction which Simpson had hinted at in 1996, and it is possible that in 2025, a prototype of this will be presented to the world. If this happens, it will be very useful in generating electricity. Hydropower will be cheaper than wind turbines and solar, and it will not harm the environment either. Now, before we get to the secret of Simpsons predictions, let's look at one last prediction which may come true in 2025. In a 1995 episode, Lisa Maid used a holographic phone in which the person on the other side of the phone appeared in front of him in a 3D projection. Meta and I are already working on it, and it is possible that this thing will be launched in 2025. 30 years ago, The Simpsons used this technology as a joke. But now with augmented reality and holography, we may see 3D calls instead of video calls in 2025. While many predictions of The Simpsons have actually proved to be true, when this animated series became very famous, people started using it as a way to get attention. Some of its scenes were also deliberately copied for the show. For example, in a 2012 episode, Lady Gaga was shown performing in a concert while hanging in the air wearing a silver dress. And then in 2017, Lady Gaga actually performed the same performance. Similarly, Miley Cyrus copied the wrecking ball scene from Simpsons, which was originally released in 1994. Similarly, many things were done deliberately to get media attention. But the other side of the story is yet to be seen. It has happened many times that after the real events took place, Simpsons made a cartoon of it and then it was shown on social media as if it was an years-old prediction. In the beginning of the video, you saw a burning dream. Had you seen the photo of the globe? This was not predicted by The Simpsons years ago. This is a real photo from 2017 in which Donald Trump, King Salman, and the Egyptian president held the globe while launching a center against extremism. This photo went viral after this. Simpsons also made a cartoon of this scene and posted it, and then people showed it on social media as if Simpsons had predicted it in 2002. Now because Simpsons is famous, this is the reason why people believed it. Similarly, the scene of Donald Trump coming down the escalator was also made and posted by Simpsons after it happened in reality. The escalator scene is actually from June 16, 2015, and Simpsons set this scene. Posted on July 2015, but so many predictions have turned out to be true, so how does this animated series predict the future? The Simpsons' future prediction is neither based on their shrewd observations nor is it merely a coincidence or a conception theory. It is not that there are any powerful people behind them. The writers of Simpsons are also well aware of this, and they are a team of very talented people who take stock of the situation and predict what will happen in the future, like when Simpsons introduced smartwatches and video games. Prediction of calls. At that time, there were only line phones in the houses, but this idea had already been floated, and with the speed at which technology was growing, it was not difficult to guess that in the future, there will be video calls as well. Like today, we all know that due to global warming, one day all the glaciers will melt. So if today's Simpson makes such a prediction and in the coming 10 to 20 years, a big glacier melts, then everyone will say that Simpsons predicted it. But the writers of Simpsons follow the trends of technology and politics very closely and show these trends in the show in an exaggerated manner, and we should not forget that there are more than 700 episodes of Simpsons. These have been released. There are countless ideas and a huge number of scenes in them. Out of so many scenes, if 1015 scenes match with any future event, then it is not a big deal. Showing Donald Trump as the president in the year 2000 was also just a coincidence. At that time, when Trump had just entered politics, The Simpsons jokingly showed him as the president. Similarly, in a 1995 episode, the scene behind Big Ben Tower, a cone-shaped building, was shown. Simpsons had very clever observations behind it. The place where this building, the Shard, is standing, there was another tower earlier which was called Southwark Towers. In 1990, this building became outdated and was demolished. It was planned to build an iconic building here, and this news was also published in newspapers. Now the writers of Simpsons knew that an iconic building will be built at this location in future, and at that time the cone-shaped design looked very futuristic, so they chose this building. A cartoon was made of it, which later matched with the real building. Actually, this was not a prediction, but just a coincidence.